great break club lineup for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, without further ado, let's get our first break club on this stage. Please, no one go crazy now for the wonderful Mr. Andy Todd!
Hello. Hi, my name's Andy Todd. I'm a senior tutor at Glasgow University's School of Law. So that's right, it's a lawyer telling jokes. And everyone knows that legal jokes are actually the best jokes because they're 100% accurate. I have to tell the truth because I'm a lawyer. I'll give you a couple of examples. I say, why did the chicken cross the road? Because the farmer hadn't built a fence as required by the Poultry Act of 1993. Chickens should be kept in a coop. Knock knock. Who's there? The police. The police who? The police who'd like to come in. Do you have a search warrant? No. Well, you can't because that's the law. Englishman, an Irishman, and a Scotsman walk into a bar. The barman says, "Are you 18?" Because he's a responsible landlord. So legal jokes are the best jokes, but I've actually got something better than legal jokes tonight. I've got legal history. Legal history, I want to talk about the best law firm in the world. And it's not Macleay, Murray and Spence, or as I call them, delay, worry and expense. It's not Brody's, or as I call them, Nobody's. It's a firm called Dundas and Wilson. I don't know if you've heard of it. So I've been silence. Who says no? But I want to talk about Dundas and Wilson because it's 255 years old. And it was formed in Edinburgh in 1759 by a man called David Erskine. David Erskine was a very smart man, and he quickly acted for all the great and good of Edinburgh. When he died, he became a very rich man. We know he was rich because of three things. One, he had a house in Naples. That's quite impressive for the 18th century. Two, he had a yacht. And three, he died of the gout. A gout is a disease you can only catch from your wallet. What we also found was in his will, he had 13 kids. 13 kids. So only 6 of them were legitimate. But when you've got 13 kids, you need a system to work out who they all are. So he called all of his sons David. And he called all of his daughters David too. When he died, he passed the firm to his apprentice, Hugh Robertson. When Hugh Robertson died, he passed the firm to his apprentice, William Wilson. William Wilson then took on a partner, James Dundas, and they formed the firm of Dundas and Wilson. At the time, they were described as being in a kind of loose form of partnership. Which I think sounds just a wee bit kinky. It's kind of like the legal equivalent of Facebook's "it's complicated." You're not going to actually get a loose kind of partnership. But I don't really want to go into it in too much detail because I'm from the Western Isles and I'm quite an innocent lad. I'd like to tell you a story. Do you remember when Tommy Sheridan was up to no good? Well, my dad phoned me. My dad's a Free Church minister, and he said, "Andrew, what's an orgy?" I lived in Glasgow at the time, so he clearly thought I was a man of the world. So I said, well, I wanted to try and explain it to him in a language that a Chukter would understand. So I said, "Dad, it's just like a frisky Kaylee." You know, he said to me, he said, "Son, say no more. That's how I met your mum." I'm pretty sure that's not how William Wilson met James Dundas, but I'm not going to look at that. 19th century, Dundas and Wilson became the biggest law firm in Edinburgh, and it spotted something that no one else had. At that point, law books, there was only a handful of them. You could fit them all in a Billy bookcase from IKEA. They spotted that what you could actually do is just hire a professor of law from one of the universities, and you'd have all the law on tap. Now, all the other law firms complained because they said, it's unfair, because Dundas and Wilson is getting all this advice for free, whereas we've got to pay the professors for all of it. Now, that professor was a guy called Montgomery Bell. Montgomery Bell was considered to be a very modest man, but I don't think he was that modest, because when you look at his will said, "My lecture notes are really good. I think you should publish them." Now, I think that's a mistake. Don't publish your lecture notes after you've died. You want to have them when you're alive, because I want to show you this. This is my book. It's the Lands Tribunal for Scotland, Law and Practice. Impressive? You'd be impressed with this. So I get £10 every time someone buys one of these books. That's why you want to sell your lecture notes, while you're still alive, because that's when the good money comes in. And I can tell you that, well, I can't tell you the exact figure, but so far I've got almost double figures for this. It's also got the greatest first line ever written. I know that's quite a claim, but that's what The Guardian said. It is a truth, universally acknowledged, that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. That's a pretty good first line, I think. My mum phoned me and she said, your first line's been named the greatest first line ever by The Guardian. So I bought The Guardian, I looked at it, and all I could think was, who's Jane Austen and what's Pride and Prejudice? I genuinely didn't know it had come from that book, because I wrote this for the co-author, and he wrote the first chapter. So I phoned him up. You've plagiarised Jane Austen. You might as well have nicked the first line of the Bible. But you know what he said? He said, Jane Austen's a hack. She might have been good for one line, but we had a second line. We had a better second line, and I'm going to read that to you just now. It is also a truth, universally acknowledged, that property owners have freedom to do what they like with their own property. That's a great second line. Jane Austen might have had Pride and Prejudice, but we've got Pride and Prejudice and property law. That's a triple whammy of awesomeness, I think. I'm not going to read out the entire book, though, line by line, just to reassure you. I know we're starting the night. I'll just do the first chapter, if it's okay. So, the 20th century, Dundas and Wilson, they became the biggest law firm in Edinburgh. And you can tell that they became the biggest and the best because there was actually a song released in the 1930s. A song which showed just who their clients were and what their place in the legal establishment was. And I'm just going to give you a couple of lines of it just now. Somewhere like this. In the city of Edinburgh lies the firm of Todd, Murray and Jameson, where the Pitmans talk to Dundasses and the Dundasses talk to God. 21st century, coming up to the millennium, Dundas and Wilson became the biggest law firm in Scotland. I want to finish tonight not with a joke, but actually with a tribute. Because although it's the biggest law firm in Scotland, though it's been the best law firm in Scotland for 255 years, as of midnight, it will be no more. Tomorrow, it's been taken over by a global law firm. The name Dundas and Wilson is disappearing. So what I would like you to do is just to raise a glass. Otherwise, we take this video and show it to the firm. And I'd like you just to raise a toast to Dundas and Wilson. And to the only firm in the world that has a founder that thinks it's okay to call her Dr. Dave. Dundas and Wilson. Thank you. Good night.